How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to make a video basically covering the fact that I get this question a hell of a lot, or basically not even a question, it's kind of like a statement. People say that you need billions of gold to get into PVM. You need to have like this set ridiculous amount of gear to even start doing PVM, and it's so hard to get into PVM without so much money in this game because inflation on the gear and stuff is stupidly high, and it's so hard to get started because you have to have all this amazing stuff to be able to get in there. This is wrong. This is super wrong, and I just wanted to make a video explaining this and showing you guys how you don't need all this stupidly high expensive stuff to be able to get into PVM. You can start doing PVM with basic gear, work your way up the ladder, and honestly you don't have to have all this stuff at endgame to be able to start doing the actual bosses, because the fun of the game is building towards that stuff. Once you've got all that stuff, trust me, the game gets to a point where you kind of think, what do I even want to do now? Like, that stuff, getting to that stuff should take you a long time. It should be a grind. It should be an enjoyable grind all the same, but it should be something that takes you a while to get, because that is a lot of the fun of the game. So in this video, I'm going to go through some of the bosses. I'm probably going to go through my own PVM progression path, which I would suggest to you guys. There'll be a link in the description for that video, but I'll probably go through that using basic gear and then explaining where you can sort of look at getting upgrades along the way, and then that basically explain to you guys that you do not need to have ridiculously expensive gear to get into PVM. You can use basic stuff and then work your way up the ladder, and as you get more stuff, then work on to different bosses and eventually end up with all the best in slot gear. That's how this works. You do not have to start with the best stuff, but let's see how I would suggest you do that, and let's basically convince you guys otherwise. So if you have that mindset now, I hope by the end of the video I can change your mind. Alright, so we're going to start off with Vindictor, because I assume you guys have the levels for it, right? The problem in this video wasn't that you guys couldn't get the levels, it was basically that you guys couldn't get the money. So what we have here is full Bandos armor, super cheap to get, I think it's about 7 mil, and we have a Masuda's War Spear, which is about 3 mil as well. So we're looking at about 10 mil gear. We've got a Glory, we've got a Ring of Vigor, absolutely free, cost Dungeoneering tokens, you can farm those fairly quickly, and we've got a Book of War. It is like super easy to get, but it's a nice little buff and it gives some stats as well. In the inventory we have a Bandos War Shield, comes with the set of the Bandos, so it's included in that price. We have overloads and we have a prayer renewal. Now the overloads, you could just use standard overload, you could even use grand potions, but these are what I've got, these are what I've got made, so we're just going to use these. And we've got the super restores as well. You could use prayer potions, but these are, I think they're like the same price anyway. We've got a normal adrenaline potion, I'm not going to bring my renewals, and we have just some pretty cheap food. We've got some green blubber jellyfish, some rock tails, and then we've just got a few brews here. Of course we can use brews of overloads. I'm not bringing a yak, I'm not bringing a ripper demon, we've just got some rock tails in here as well. We might not even need them, to be fair, but I just wanted to show you guys that it is possible to get kills at places that is profitable and can build you up basically fairly easily. So you want to get into PVM, you may not have this unlocked straight away, to be fair, but I'm only going to get this just to get the kill count, so don't panic too much. Come through the Vindictor portal wherever you want to go, and we are very close to the kill count, so that's, oh wait, we already have it, we don't need to do it. Okay, that's fine. So let's go through the threshold. So I would suggest you guys do come to Vindictor first if you have access to it, because it is a great place to start learning. Normally, if you are getting like brand new into PVM, I would suggest looking at God Wars 1 bosses, getting used to DPS, all that sort of good stuff is really useful at God Wars 1. You can use the same sort of stuff here. This gear would absolutely wreck the Bandos boss, General Grado, you'd be able to wreck him. If you wanted to go and do range, if your range setup is what you've got, then you would go do Kriara, and if you have magic setup, I believe you would go do Krill, the Zamorak boss. Saradomin boss is kind of not really worth doing in my opinion, but the other three, absolutely. Practice your DPS there, and then once you've got that, this is where you're going to start making money. Vindictor is a fairly easy boss to get into, but if you want to come here, practice mode first, always, if you want to just get used to the fight without dying. Once you are here, you're going to want to just obviously start the instance, and we'll see how this goes. Now, please keep in mind, I am absolutely useless at melee, so there's going to be some stuff that I screw up here, but that's fine, because that just makes it even easier. Now, we're not going to use the Think Big Cursors, we're going to use the Turmoil one, and we're just going to use Soul Split probably. And that's pretty much it. We're just going to go to town here and see exactly how we can do. There's something that I'm missing here. I have no idea. My bar is set up terribly, but that's fine. We'll fix that as we go along. Maybe this is number 2. That'll do. I'll just show you guys basically in this video that you can do PVM with low level gear. Like it might not be the most efficient thing straight away. Like you can absolutely do it, and it's not like something that you are going to struggle to do. And Vindictor is a boss that can make you a really good amount of money. So you can definitely camp this for a while you get used to DPS and stuff. It teaches you the mechanics, and also this is the 10 mil gear setup that I'm using here. And while the kills may take a while, like you guys might be looking like, well, Vindictor kills should only take you around about 2 minutes. Like you should be done by now. Yes, okay, most people will be like, yeah, you should be done by now. Absolutely. But that's not the point. The point is, you can do this boss. Like, you can get into this boss, and everyone has to start somewhere. You can't just expect it all to be like there straight away. That's not how this game works. You have to build your way up. Practicing like mechanics like healing the off of the range hit and stuff is stuff you're gonna have to, like you say, you're gonna have to practice it. But it's all stuff that you will get eventually. Now, keeping in mind that I did start this off with a absolutely terrible DPS bar, and it's literally been 2.5 minutes. And this isn't the best gear. I do not have an aura on. I should definitely put an aura on. I will put one on for the next kill, and we'll see how that goes instead. But the point is, that's one kill, and yes, it was only 68k. But this boss drops a Dragon Rider Lance, which one would be a immediate upgrade to my gear from a Masuta's War Spear, and two, the next kill will be a lot quicker due to having an aura and stuff. But like, you can definitely make money from here. It's a good place to make money. It's a good place to start, and you have to start somewhere. Like, you don't need to be worrying about kill times yet. You've not got the best gear. You've not like invested a lot of time into PVM, especially if you don't have the best gear. Then you've not like put as much time into actually learning the bosses and stuff as well. So your kill times aren't your main worry right now. Your main worry is getting the kills and having the opportunity to build your bank up. Like, any of these kills can be the big drop, the crest or the Dragon Rider Lance. Like, any of these drops could be that big drop. And yes, it will take some time. It might take you 3 hours, 4 hours to get your first Dragon Rider Lance or to get any drop whatsoever, but it will add up, and all the little drops you get in between will also add up as well. All you want to do basically is just keep going through this. This is what the grind is like. This is where everyone started. We all did stuff. We all did Slayer, we all did little bosses, we all did God Wars 1 trying to get our stuff. I must have spent so many hours at Kriara and God Wars 1 trying to farm out Armadil drops, just because I wanted to make sure I could get the best gear I could. But it takes time. That's what this game is. It takes a lot of time, but as long as you're enjoying it, like, you should be enjoying these boss kills with lower level gear. But that's basically it. What I'd suggest doing is coming here first, working on this, try and get your drop from here. You would eventually be able to get yourself a Dragon Rider Lance, or you could sell that stuff off and work on something else. Now, where I'm going to go next is Hellware, and with that I would use magic gear myself personally, but you can use melee, you can use range, you can use whatever you want there. If you want to go with your melee gear, you can. I'm going to sell this stuff off. I'm going to get myself some basic cheap magic gear, probably the same sort of level as this, and we're going to go and show you guys that you can also do Hellware. The next boss I'm going to show you guys is Hellware. For this, we literally have some Ganodermic armor. We are just using level 75 tank armor, super cheap. I think it was like 2 mil for the full set, or maybe it's a little bit more than that. But the Polypore staff is like 2 mil as well. And then we've got the Glory, the Cape, the Ring of Vigor, our Pando's Book again, and we will change this aura to an accuracy one. Now, we have a Water Subjugation for the shield, which we will definitely need to use. That was like 700k, like it shows there. And then we've got the same stuff as before, overloads. We've just got green blubbers this time, no rocktails, makes it even cheaper. A few Saradomin brews just to give that extra little boost of health. And we also have a weapon poison, because you can actually use weapon poison at Hellware, and it's important to check this sort of stuff because it will make your life a lot easier. Literally just Google Hellware, it'll come up with a wiki, it'll tell you on there whether you can use it or not. And then all we're going to do now is just change to a different aura. We're going to use the accuracy one here, because we're definitely going to want the accuracy at Hellware. Chuck that on, and then we'll go ahead and do it. We've got our kill count. We're not going to get adrenaline because you guys may not have that crystal, and this is just basically because if you get tired of just doing Vindictor over and over again, I don't expect you guys to want to do Vindictor 24/7 until you can afford better gear to go to like the other bosses. So Hellware is another option that will make you around about the same amount of money. And there's a few mechanics at this fight, which obviously me knowing these mechanics will help out a lot. But if you don't know them, then it's just worth practicing. Eventually you'll be able to know through this boss absolutely fine. Get our health back. So far we've used no food, and we are doing absolutely fine. Again, these kills may not be as fast as you would like, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is just being able to go through. I've got a kinship on, not a vigor. Well, that's good. Whoops, picked the wrong one out. The important thing is just be able to get the kills though. So that's all we're looking at here, and get that res. So far, again, still used no food. We're not even using devotion or anything. Absolutely fine. Ganodermic's nice and tanky, so that's keeping us nice and healthy as well. There we go, and we just got from that 250k. Now, this is obviously going to take a little while for you to get into. You're going to have to put the time in to learn bosses, but that's just how it is. Like, even if you had the best in slot gear, you would have to learn the bosses. If you, with Hellware, just focus on learning the actual mechanic of doing the resonance, getting the heal off of it, that's what's going to save you all your food here. That's what's going to make it so you can no food this boss. And that's probably going to be like one of the most important things for you to do here. But you can definitely no food this boss, and even with the gear that I've got, you can see that didn't really need to eat that much. Now, if you have access to 84 magic and access to the new spells, if you've done the quest, the City at Siniston, you can actually use the Insight, the Animate Dead spell here, and that will be absolutely amazing for you. If you have access to that, I would suggest you use it. In Ganodermic armor, you will take nearly no damage whatsoever. I think you guys kind of get the point. These bosses are definitely able for you to be done. It's just making sure you put the time in to learn them, and obviously you can do them with this gear. Like, you don't have to have really high gear. And of course you guys may be thinking, well, you've obviously had a lot of practice, you know what you're doing, but that's the point. Like, you're gonna have to put the practice in. You're gonna have to learn bosses. We all had to learn bosses to be able to get our gear. Everyone's been there. Everyone's been in the situation you are in at the moment. And trust me, if you had the best in slot gear but no experience at the boss, you would still struggle to get kills as you would be in this gear as well. And Hellware drops plenty of items as well. There's the wand and the orb. There's the crest, I believe, is the best thing from here. And you can make a lot of money anyway. All the drops from here are really consistent good money, like 100k there, 250k last time. There's also a 800k herb drop, I believe. So Hellware is another boss that you could definitely do easily. I have used barely any food, look. I've not touched this. I've used like 1 brew and 3 green blubber jellyfishes, and that's in this low gear here. Of course, I have a lot more experience, like I said, but put the time in, get the effort in, and actually realize that you do need to work on bosses. You can't just buy the best gear and go brute force your way through. That just still would probably turn out just as bad. And honestly, you can definitely still do this. So there's 2 bosses that you can start building up on. The next place I'm going to go is a Raxor, and once you can get to a Raxor, you can start working on other stuff like doing next with a duo and then learning that solo. But honestly, if you can do a Raxor, you're well on your way to earning things like your tier 90 weapons, your Noxious Staff, your Noxious Scythe, and even like Ascension Crossbows if you sell the stuff off. So let's go there and let's see what we can do that with. Okay, so next up, I'm going to be heading to a Raxor, as I said, and this is a boss that basically, if you can do this boss, you can absolutely get towards endgame PVM. It may take a while, it may take a bit of investing in time, like I've said at each of these bosses, to get your drop, to finish your spider leg off, but by the time you finish the spider leg, you could have had a hilt as well, and that's a tier 90 weapon. Once you've got tier 90 weapons, you can actually start doing a hell of a lot of more stuff in this game. It makes life so much easier as well with the accuracy and the damage. So let's have a look at that. Currently, I'm in a Carol's setup. I have Carol's body, legs, and a coif. Now, the Carol's armor set on the Grand Exchange is 9 mil. However, these pieces alone, without the crossbow, only cost me 4 mil. It was actually like maybe 4.2 mil, something like that. So, really, really cheap. I have Royal Dragonhide Van Braces, Royal Dragonhide Boots, and I have Chaotic Weapons. You can unlock these by grinding out some Dungeoneering tokens. So, value-wise, they're absolutely free. It just takes some time to get them, which is absolutely fine if you guys are saying that you don't have the money for it. You're gonna have to put the time in eventually. You're gonna have to get these things like that as well, so definitely worth bringing. I've got my overloads, like I said before. We do have our restores, brews. We only have green blubber jellyfish. These are like 700 coins each, so cheap. We're using a Supreme Sharpshooter Aura, and we have our Bandos book. So that is pretty much it. We have a War Shield as well, which you're going to be able to use for a switch. So let's just actually put that down here as well. And that is all we need. So absolutely easy. Let's go ahead and let's do some Raxor. Oh, by the way, we're not using Backrominal Bolts either. We're just using Ascension ones. I don't think that's good for Chaotic Crossbows. If you have 99 range, do use the Backrominal Bolts E. They make your life a lot easier, but obviously I don't want to use that because I want you guys to be able to see that you can do this easily. And then you just need to obviously remember the mechanics here. You're gonna have to practice these bosses. But even with the best gear, if you've never been here, you'll still struggle. You still have to put the time in and practice the bosses. Like I said the other times, turn auto retaliate off. What a stupid thing that is. I will not be using Greater Ricochet. I will not use that. Well, in fact, we'll just take that off here. Don't worry about that. I'm not using my 1.3 bill ability to make my life easier. Like I said, these kills may take a little while, but you'll get there. It's fine. We're gonna use our Death Swift. We've got our Kinship on once again. Because, you know, best in slot ring, Kinship. You want to use a Vigor. You want to be using a Vigor if you have access to one. Or basically anything that's not a Kinship, to be fair. I have no idea why I keep forgetting to switch that and I keep bringing this rubbish, but that's fine. So we're just going to do this nice and easy phase by phase. The kill will take a little while, probably thinking around about 7 minutes. We'll have to see. But that's not a problem. Okay, that'll do for damage. We'll phase that. Run back down here. The spiders are going to spawn in this room. The reason I've not run all the way down as a learner, because I'm a learner now, is we don't want to run all the way down and force the attacks, the special attacks, to be more often. Because dealing with the spiders and the special attacks being a lot faster is just not the most ideal thing to do as a learner. If we do get down to like a lower health and he hasn't spawned the spiders yet, we'll definitely move down to the next room because we don't want to waste the time on the health there. Sometimes Rax will do this where he just won't spawn the spiders and you'll be waiting for ages. It's super annoying. Right, we're going to run this down because I don't want to spend all day up here waiting for these spiders to spawn, and he still hasn't done it. This is an absolute joke, but this is fine because you're going to see that even with the kill being dragged out like this, I shouldn't run out of food. I should be absolutely fine. Yeah, there we go. Got our spiders. They can definitely spawn in that other room, I swear to God. If you are struggling with food, you can use your defensives on the boss. Like, make sure you use defensive on the boss so you're taking less damage, like debilitate, devotion as well. This bit, you are going to eat food. Keep that in mind. You are going to eat here. These spiders do a lot of damage. It's just how it is. You'll be fine. Now, of course, I am using green blubbers. You don't have to use green blubbers. You can bring rocktails. I'm bringing these just to prove a point, right? So it has been about 7.5 minutes so far. This is the spiders. If you had path 2 and 3 open, it'll be a lot quicker than that. The spiders do stop you from doing a little bit of like faster kills, but that's okay. We only need 1 leg piece from this bit anyway. So what you'd be wanting from a Raxor is basically the leg pieces, right? And you get 1 from top path, 1 from middle, 1 from bottom. Now, this is going to be the hardest bit for you guys probably when you're learning, is the prayer flicking here. You'll get used to it. Don't worry about that. You will get used to it, absolutely. But this will take practice, just like everything else does. This is a Raxor here. Huh, that's weird. Isn't this meant to be a Raxi? And then at 25% health, the little core thing's going to come out. But what I'd suggest you guys do here is just either try and do as much damage as possible. But if you're struggling, I'd use devotion. And then as soon as that thing hits you, the little core, as soon as it hits you, you want to step off of it. There you go, 1 hit, get off it. And then you've took no damage from the hits, and you can just focus on getting the thing. I didn't even use my adrenaline potion here. Could have used that at the end. There you go. That's a Raxor done. It took 9 minutes, okay? And I understand you guys like, freaking 9 minutes, that is not worth it. But when this happens... we didn't get the drop. I was going to try and be cool and say, when this happens, you get the drop on the first one. But basically, like, that's 200k. This is a terrible one, by the way. This is absolutely terrible. The overloads are good. The overloads are brilliant. But normally you can expect to get Sourdough and Bruise or something like that. The drops can be really good here. You can get Onyxes. If you get 1 Onyx drop from here, it's 2 Onyxes in 1, and it's about 7 or 8 mil at the moment to get one of those drops. So that's a massive increase in your bank, especially if this is the gear you've got. So 8 mil, all done just like that. Also, the leg pieces, you will get them eventually. Like I say, you may have to like do slow kills for a while. Path 1 is going to be your slowest one. Once you've got the top piece, you can do path 2 and 3. They'll be a lot quicker because you don't have to deal with the freaking spiders, and it will make your life a lot easier. Like I say, everyone at some point had to start off in the same place. You have lower gear, you have slower kill times. That's just the way it is. That's the way PVM works. If you guys are looking at it and going, to get into PVM, you have to have all this best stuff because my kills are 10 minutes and yours are 5. It's because I have better stuff. But I had to be here at one point doing these kills at 10 minutes long, 9 minutes long, and like working your way down. And the better you get, the faster kills you're going to get, the better gear you get, the faster. If you have 99 range, you've got Ruby Back Criminal Bolts. They will save you a couple of minutes. Those procs, those are really good. It's absolutely like upgrade your stuff as you go along. You don't have to be like right at the best in slot when you start off PVM. You can do this with low level stuff. All of the stuff I did for this video, all the gear I used were under 10 mil per loadout. 10 mil is so easy to get. It's unbelievable how easy you can get 10 mil without even doing bossing. If you just literally look on the RuneScape wiki and look up a money making guide, you'll be able to find something 3 mil, 4 mil an hour. Do that for 2 or 3 hours. You've got a full setup here that you can do. Come and try these bosses out. Grind away at Vindictor. Grind away in Hellware. Get some upgrades. And then once you've got those upgrades, come here to a Raxor and try them out. You didn't really need any upgrades for this to be able to come here. Like, it's chaotic weapons and it's carols. If you've got 30-40 mil from doing Hellware, doing Vindictor, even if you've got a little bit more than that, because the lance is like 35 mil at the moment, you could definitely buy yourself Shadow Glaives. They are probably going to be better than these chaotic crossbows, to be fair, depending if you're using the back criminal bolts or not. But you can buy better gear. You can buy yourself some armored armor, which will give you range damage. You can use better auras. There's so many upgrades you can use from what I've got here, and it will make your kills a lot faster. But guys, do not panic about your kill times. If you can get the kills, you can put the time in, you can get your upgrades, you can get all the money that you need from it. It will take time. I remember camping this boss at 12-minute kills for so damn long. 12-minute kills, I was using freaking, I don't remember what I was using, it just wasn't good. But 12-minute kills to come through here, I would finish my spider leg off, and boom, there is 1 tier 90 done, or there's 150 mil to upgrade my gear with. And then from that, I would get 10-minute kills because I've had one upgrade. Then down to 8-minute kills, 5-minute kills, all the way down to what it is now, around about 3 or 4 minutes. That is just the way this works. But you have to put the time in, you have to do the grinding, you have to kill the low level bosses. Don't forget that bit, that's important. I know you see everybody doing all these stupidly high fast kill times, all that sort of stuff. To get to PVM, you have to start at the bottom, you have to build your way up, unless you want to go and buy bonds and just buy yourself all the gear, but I wouldn't recommend doing that, because honestly, once you reach the end game, if you have all the stuff, then what do you even do next? But anyway, guys, that's enough of the ranting, that's enough of the lessons. You can do PVM with lower level gear. You do not have to have all the stupidly high level stuff to get into it. Getting into PVM isn't that hard to do. You just need to practice the bosses, you just need some basic gear which you can get fairly quickly, and you'll be good to go. But anyway guys, I hope this video did help you out. I hope it sort of proved the point that I was trying to get across, that cheap gear, cheap like stuff that you've got doesn't really stop you from getting into PVM. Just put the time in, learn the bosses, get the basic stuff, start with slow kills, work on it, upgrade your gear, and then move your way up the ladder. Anyway guys, the video is going to end here, so if you did enjoy it, do leave a like on it, do subscribe to the channel if you are new, and other than that, thank you all so much to my channel members for the extra support. I really appreciate it. Your names will be on screen right now. Otherwise guys, I will see you all in the next one. See you later guys, bye.